Hello and welcome to Homicide Hobbies. I'm Andy,
And I'm Claire.
and we're here to talk about some of the disturbing things that go on in the world, past and present. We feel like not knowing doesn't mean the crazy doesn't exist.
So we're going to scar you with the knowing.
Enjoy.
I think we need some sort of a signal of like if I'm going too fast.
How about if I just say, you're going too fast?
That's a good signal.
So what do you got for us today, Claire?
So today we're headed to the land of poets and thinkers.
England.
It's the home of the famous Black Forest.
Russia.
It also has a Black Forest cake that, if that helps, I know a lot of people get that. Apparently not you. It also is the world leader in producing cars, like Audi, BMW, Mercedes.
Germany?
About to say Volkswagen, but yes, Germany. And it's going to be another old-timey one, so brace yourself.
They made Black Forest cake?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. When you said Black Forest cake, I was about to go in the U.S. somewhere south because I figured it was one of them Southerners that done created a cake.
No, so there's this like German restaurant that we've gone to, and they've done like bakery bake sale things, and everybody around here and a lot of military folk go crazy for Black Forest cake.
Well, I love Black Forest cake. I think it's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I like it. It looks pretty.
That and German chocolate.
Hmm.
Hey! There's a theme.
We'll both go to Romania with a brief stop into Germany.
Sign me up. We'll come back and have to like run 50.
You can eat your you can eat your Black Forest cake in the Black Forest.
That's a bit much, but
fine. Whatever. I guess draw your line there. Anyway, but we're headed to Germany.
Now I want cake.
Well, you're going to have to get through that.
I don't know the last time I had cake.
Focus.
Sorry. I am on your hints. Cake.
You're supposed to focus on cake. We're headed to Germany. And if you didn't catch the last part of we're going to the old-timey times again.
All right.
We're headed into the heart of the 16th century in Germany.
Good Lord.
A land torn apart by religious war, famine, and superstition. In a world where witches were burned and the devil was blamed for every disaster, the people of Bedburg believed something far worse stalked their fields. In particular, we're going to be 1589 in the German town of Bedburg, if you didn't catch that, with the people there think there's something weird in their field. Children are going to start vanishing, women will be ambushed on lonely paths, livestock lay ripped apart in the fields, the villagers will start whispering that a creature was hunting them. Something far worse than a wolf.
It was Dracula.
And if you're curious, yes, people were attacked by wolves in those times, because I guess during the whole war-torn thing, that just like people will get starved, so will the animals, and the wolves, if they were hungry enough, they for sure would attack people.
Makes sense. We're wild animals.
Mm-hmm. Now, the locals would whisper that they were being hunted by not just anything, but a man that could wear a wolf's skin, tear out hearts, and devour unborn children.
All right.
Now, history would remember this particular person as the Werewolf of Bedburg, the man who blurred the line between human and monster.
Sounds like he needs a good bath.
He had Robin Williams' DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Bedburg lay in the Rhineland, shadowed by the Cologne War from 1583 to 1588. And I realize it was a real war, but when I read it, I was thinking like...
I just pictured...
teenage boys with axe?
Well, what movie is it? Show, movie. Oh, Friends. The episode of Friends with Joey when he's got when he's like spraying.
Clothes?
No, when he's spraying the cologne,
yeah.
and the other guy comes in and then sprays the one customer in the eyes. Yeah, like cowboys.
Dressed as cowboys.
Yeah. That was what I pictured when you said Cologne War. I was like,
hombre for men.
Exactly.
Yes, but the Cologne War was a religious one. It was the Catholics and the Protestants slaughtering each other across the countryside. It was a localized war, sparked by an archbishop's conversion to Protestantism. But it devastated that region. Villages were burned, crops ruined, food was scarce. Hunger drove wolves from the forest into the villages. They killed livestock and children. Every torn throat and gnawed limb fed the belief that the devil had unleashed something monstrous. So when bodies began turning up, the villagers didn't just see wolves, they saw a werewolf.
I'm sensing the story of Little Red Riding Hood being birthed.
Probably so. That it sounded like that they had a real wolf problem and they were hungry. It was disastrous because the killings, they were vicious. Like I said, children would disappear, but then they would turn up with like their throats torn out, flesh stripped from their bones, hearts pulled from their chest. Even two pregnant ladies would be attacked and their bellies torn open and their fetuses ripped from their wombs and devoured.
Did you just say ripped from their rooms?
Wombs? Yeah, well, I guess it works either way. They were torn from their room inside their mother, a womb,
All right.
and devoured.
Ugh.
I thought you'd be a little more squeamish of that. But to the villagers, this was proof not of a man, but of a beast. Because what human could even imagine those kind of acts, let alone carry them out? But even the livestock weren't spared. Farmers found cattle and sheep torn open, half eaten, scattered across the fields. Witnesses would swear they saw a hulking wolf lurk on the forest edge.
The Hulk, too?
Yeah, it was green,
Sorry.
but when they would decide to give chase, the creature melted into the shadows. The people of Bedburg were convinced a werewolf was on the prowl. That's why they couldn't catch this particular wolf, because he would turn into a man. And in 1589, a hunting party would form, armed with spears, dogs, and desperation. They tracked a massive wolf through the woods and at last cornered it. But as they closed in, the beast seemed to vanish. In its place stood a man, in his mid-40s, Peter Stumpp.
Sorry.
He's a widowed farmer and Protestant landowner who just happened to have the bad coincidence of living in a Catholic town. And if you don't remember your short history lesson, it's not good to be a Catholic or Protestant in a Catholic town. So he's already not on the side of his hunting party. Now, Peter seems to have been regarded as fairly ordinary, a rural householder, raising crops and livestock, paying his dues, and pretty much he didn't bother anybody. There's nothing in in the history of him prior, but they didn't keep detailed notes on people who didn't do anything. So up until this point, he seems like he was a decent person doing what he needed to do to survive. But he paid his dues, he raised his crops. He'd been in that neighborhood for years. So he wasn't a new stranger or anything, because you know how usually if things start happening, blame the new guy.
Yeah.
But he'd lived there for years, so it's not like he's unfamiliar. But that didn't stop the hunters from seizing him at once. To them, he was their monster. They dragged him into custody. Peter was stretched on the rack and broken under torture. Under his agony, he would confess. He said that at age 12, the devil had given him this magical belt. When he wore it, he claimed he transformed into a ravenous wolf, strong enough to tear apart children, swift enough to outrun the hunters. With his mighty power, he admitted to slaughtering 14 children,
Oh.
2 pregnant women, and countless livestock.
Well, how much of that is from him being beaten into confessing?
So all of it.
All right.
It turns out that you'll say anything if people are snapping your limbs like twigs. But he would describe feasting on their flesh, eating hearts while they were still warm, drinking blood.
I wouldn't confess to all of that.
I'm curious, like, because he'll confess to gnawing bones raw. I feel like they're like some sick perverts over there going, "You ate the flesh, didn't you?"
And he's just like,
You?
yes,
Yes,
yes, I did.
yes."
Stop.
As they rip off a fingernail or something.
They have threatened his testicles. I guarantee it.
They probably burned him with red hot pokers and did all sorts of weird shit to him. I'm sure that, like, I don't think he came up with this story. I think they're just weirdos with a very sick, twisted imagination. They're like, how many did you kill? 14? Sure.
Yep.
Were they children?
Yeah.
Yes.
Were 2 of them pregnant? Yep.
He even would confess to killing his own son,
Oh.
tearing the child open and devouring his brain.
Was his child really killed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, of the pregnant women, he said he ripped the unborn children from their mother's wombs
Good job.
and ate them, calling the fetuses the daintiest meat of all.
That's vile. That is not funny.
I guess
That
it's like a cannibal's version of veal.
You. are disgusting.
Hey, I didn't make it up. I'm saying these people who were torturing him were the real sick tickets.
Ugh.
But the accusations did not stop there. I guess while they figured they had him admitting to everything, they were really going to stick it to him. So they decided to charge him with incest,
What?
accusing him of having relations with his teenage daughter, Sybil, as well as his sister, and even claimed that he was lying down with a daemon in the shape of a woman, a succubus sent by Satan himself, aka his mistress, Catherine.
That's disgusting.
But I laughed at that they said that he was lying down with a demon in the shape of a woman. It was like his mistress Catherine. Like, well, if they're not just really grasping at straws here, but I just thought it was funny.
Yeah.
And that belt, that magical belt, it was never found. Peter insisted the devil had taken it back, and the authorities agreed that that was probably the case. Satan himself had erased the evidence.
Sure. That makes a lot of sense.
This was a wild one to read. I thought the 80s were crazy. The 1500s are unhinged no matter what part of the world you take a peek at.
The 80s were crazy? I thought it was the 70s.
Those two, 70s, 80s, 60s, that era.
90s, the
Yeah,
2000s.
the 90s we were still drinking from the hose, so. But the 1500s were wild because people just made shit up, and I think they were just so hungry that they're like, yeah!
Their blood sugar was low. They were imagining things. They were saying things.
Between scratching at the rashes from all those flea bites and having the smallpox and just, all the things, the crusty asses because they don't have any clean water to bathe with. But anyway, so he's charged with all these crimes, right? So on October 31st, 1589, Peter Stumpp is going to go on trial. He is found guilty of his brutal crimes, so he's brought to the wheel. First, his flesh was torn with red hot pincers.
Ah,
Then, his arms and legs were shattered with blunt sides of an axe.
ah,
While still alive, he's decapitated.
oh my gosh.
And finally, his body was burned to ash. Now, his daughter and mistress, accused of sharing in his sins, were executed beside him.
Oh, that's not fair.
Both were strangled, then burned, which was considered a standard punishment for them women, especially if they were accused of witchcraft or diabolical crimes.
Of course it was.
Right. Like, and you know what? I feel like it's kind of like that case that I did with like the hangings of they weren't dead. They were strangled to being passed out and then thrown on a fire.
They were really bored in that town.
As a final warning, Peter's severed head was mounted on a wolf's body and displayed on a stake outside of Bedburg.
Oh my gosh. That's
But
disgusting.
yeah, but the story did not lie with him. In 1590, a pamphlet appeared in London titled A True Discourse Declaring the Damnable Life and Death of One Stubbe Peter. It claimed to tell the whole story and did so in stomach turning details of the 14 murdered children, 2 pregnant women, fetuses ripped from their wombs and eaten raw, his son's brains being devoured, incest with his daughter and sister, pretty much the tabloids of the times. It painted Peter as the very image of diabolical corruption, and people are eating it up.
Gross.
But the original German version is lost. The English text we have was already filtered through Protestant propaganda and a taste for sensational horror. In other words, everything we know about the Werewolf of Bedburg comes from a piece of the 16th century tabloid true crime journalism designed to terrify and disgust, and I feel like entertain.
Yeah.
Now, this story tends to still draw fascination, mainly because we're never going to know what actually happened. And it comes down to his confession was from under torture, and torture does more than break bones. It shapes stories of magical belts and cannibalism and all that nonsense. And it was conveniently, any evidence was whisked away by Satan because that was the times. So
Did the murders stop after he was killed? That'd be my question. I know this is an ancient story, so there's no way of getting really any answers,
sitting here like, you go ahead and look up the obituaries.
but I'd be curious.
So that is what a lot of people will wonder because it's just we're going to be stuck in all the possibilities that could happen, and there are 3 that I've observed. One, that Peter was exactly what they said he was, a true killer, a cannibal who cloaked his horrors in the tales of the devil, a serial murderer before the term even existed. Two, the real killer were wolves driven by famine to attack humans, leaving gruesome crime scenes more than any human could have created. Or three, Peter was no killer at all. He was just a Protestant farmer in a Catholic territory, chosen as a scapegoat in a chaotic time when I feel like jumping on that one gave everybody the distraction from everything else. And it just so happened to be he was not the religion that was preferred.
Well,
And then, of course, his execution being more of a theater.
I feel like back in those days that executions were just for entertainment.
Yeah. But it's just crazy when fear and hysteria combine and then people's love for torture and public execution.
People are sick.
But I thought it was interesting because it just suck if he was completely innocent and just some poor widower that was tortured literally to death.
It sounds like he was.
Right.
And his boy got murdered as well. Talk about pouring salt on the wound.
His boy, his daughter, his girlfriend.
Yeah, which, by the way, when you were saying that he was committing incest with his daughter, you also said his sister. Did I miss that originally?
No.
He's banging his sister.
I think they just threw in everything. They wanted to make him this horrible, awful person that they could make the public enemy number one, and the whole town band together to hate this person.
That's gotta suck.
And they sure did. So they're just like, you know what? It's not bad enough we got you to confess to 14 crimes. You're fucking your sister, aren't you? And he's like, I don't have a sister. That's not what I said. Fine, yes. Like, and your daughter. No. Yeah, but it's possible he was. But I was just like, so which is it? Like, how is he a quiet farmer?
Well, the other side of things too is we've seen in more recent cases that when the wife dies, some of the menfolk are all too eager to replace the dead wife with the eldest daughter.
Yeah.
So it's not far-fetched.
Now, once they started spreading the word and everybody wanted to tell their
Version.
story to sell whatever, and that's when all the things end up warped. So that was like the meat of the thing. There were other ones that, again, it seems more made up, and I didn't see
What?
anything. Hold up, I know more made up. That there was one that said like that hunting party were hunting that wolf that like it walked with a limp or like had one paw missing or something. Peter was missing a hand, so when they ran to wherever they saw the wolf run and Peter happened to be there, they were like, it must be him because he has one hand. And then I was confused of, okay, that version had him this one-armed widow that's murdering people. And
how the heck is a one-armed man murdering people?
Thank you. That's where my head went to. Okay, so if this is one mentioning that he's one armed, not to say somebody with one arm couldn't maul somebody to death, but I feel like you'd have to compensate in some way.
It's been a while since we've referenced movies, but there is that Harrison Ford movie, The Fugitive, the one-armed man.
Oh, maybe that's where they got it from. That's the modern version. I was thinking To Kill a Mockingbird when that one lady saying that like he attacked her and like he put his hands all over her or whatever. I vaguely remember because like he had some sort of injury and he couldn't even use that arm, so he wouldn't have been able to do what she said.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that poor feller.
Yeah, so I did the whole, okay, let's pretend he did have some sort of an accident, which I feel like is possible since he's a farmer.
Yeah.
That it probably got torn apart in some weird accident in the 1500s that occurred.
Or he had a splinter and they were like, we got to take your whole arm.
Yeah. This sucker's got to come off, and unfortunately, we only go by joints. Because we don't have sharp blades, just got this rusty axe.
Here, bite this stick.
Mm-hmm. Well, like, this looks like the pox. It's a bee, I promise. But anyway.
It's the fleas. I don't know how to clean. My wife died.
I feel like when he was decapitated, that was relief. And I'm surprised they didn't kill his daughter and then side lady. Or I guess she's not a side lady because his wife is dead. But
his girlfriend.
In front of him first.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what the fuck's within the 1500s with them playing with parts. They really liked their red hot pokers.
They are some twisted fools.
Yeah, well, that's all I got to say about that.
Well,
I just thought it was really gross with the fetuses being the daintiest meat of all.
yeah,
Whatever
that's
sick,
disgusting.
twisted fuck came up with that too was sick.
Yeah. You comparing it to veal is also disgusting.
It, this came from the Germans.
No comment.
Hey, I was gonna throw in a clue for you that one of their dishes was it's a sour roast,
Ugh.
but it's like sauerkraut and like a I don't know, but like that's what it's not a soured roast, but that's like what it's translated to is a sour roast. It's not sauerkraut. I forget what it is, but whatever one of their staples are. And then I knew if I said anything about beer, I thought you'd guess it. But you got Germany pretty quick. I was surprised.
Me too.
No.
Well, when you went with the Black Forest cake, I was going to start guessing like southern parts of the United States, but then I was thinking of which southern states have a dark forest, and I was like, probably fucking all of them. So then I was going to go for swampland type. So I was going to guess Louisiana, but because I feel like Louisiana is heavy with the sweets and like the down home cooking.
I think Louisiana, I think more of humidity and spicy food
Well, I was thinking more swamp.
and like a deodorant.
Well, for the Black Forest, or I was thinking more swamplands and
Mm,
then cooking. But then the time period, if I knew that, that would have thrown me off.
yeah.
So,
Well, I try not
yeah,
to tell you the time period first because
yeah, I know it. I did the same
let's
reason
see.
I don't tell it to you first. That and
Yeah.
your brain hole forgets. But thanks for that.
Yeah. Well, I hope that helps everybody embrace the spooky season.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Homicide Hobbies. If we made you laugh, if we made you cry, or if we mindfucked you for the day, then we thank you for listening. Please write a review on whatever you're listening to us on. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell your coworkers. We're freaking awesome. And join us next week for another episode of Homicide Hobbies. I'm Andy.
And I'm Claire.
That's all we've got.